The difference between what your agency is making right now and what you want it to make in the future is just a matter of solving the problems that are stopping you from getting there. And in this video, I'm going to give you the simple 4-step framework that I use to go from 0 to 35 grand a month with my agency in just under 6 months, and the same strategy that I plan on using to go from 35 grand a month all the way to $100,000 per month in the next 6 months. Okay. And as a bonus, I'm also going to show you how to solve problems that you might not even know exist that are stopping you from being able to get to that next level inside of your business. All right. So step one is all about setting your target and building the actual math for reaching your goals. Okay. So what a lot of people do is they don't even do this. And this is the very simple stuff. So I'm going to give you a little resource here, and I'm going to open this up. And what you need to know before you can actually figure out exactly what the issues are and what problems that you need to solve inside of your business is you need to actually know the math surrounding it, right? So I'm going to show you how to use this, and this is going to be super helpful for you. All right. So the first thing you need to do in here is you need to go ahead and add the price of your products or your service inside of this spreadsheet in the unit price LTV. And you basically want to add the LTV of your business, right? So let's just say, for example, random marketing agency, let's say you charge $1,500 a month and your average retention is 4 months. So you basically have an LTV of 6 grand. Okay. Now, let's say your goal is to be able to actually get to, I don't know, let's say 30 grand a month, right? So what we basically need to do is we need to reverse engineer what our percentages are. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off with, let's just put an arbitrary number inside of the amount of appointments that we're going to be booking, right? So let's say we're booking 30 appointments per month. Let's say you close at 20%, your good fit rate is 80%, and your show rate is 70%. That means you're going to be able to get to 20K per month. Obviously, what this means is we either need to boost these KPIs up or you're going to boost these appointments up, right? So a simple way to do this is obviously just make this 45 instead of 30, and then we should be good to go at $30,000 per month, okay? Now, this gives us a hypothesis as to what we need to do in order to be able to get to this point, okay? So that leads us to step 2. Now that we have a general overview of what the math could look like to be able to get there, right? Now I want to identify the metrics that are not within KPI, right? So you want to typically use these industry standard numbers, right? Close rate 20% is fine. Good fit rate 80% is fine. 70% is fine. If you have better numbers than this, you can input your own. If you feel like you can do better, you can input what those are. You just want to set these as a goal. And a lot of the times the issue is just volume. But right, you're just going to come up with some kind of a hypothesis as to what you need to do in order to accomplish your goal, right? So let's say, right, at this point, we have these numbers. We want to figure out what is out of KPI, right? What is not actually at these numbers, right? So you're going to analyze what has your close rate been in the last 30 days, with the last 60 days, what's your good fit rate, show rate, and appointment volume, right? So if it's less than these things, right, let's say maybe you have a 20% close rate, maybe you have these things, right? Just say, for example, and you only have let's say you only have 15 appointments. Obviously, you need to be able to triple the volume in order to be able to get to 30K per month, right? Maybe you'd be at 10K per month right now. So now we have identified that metric, that the volume of the appointments from basically all of our channels combined. We're just like, you can, if you, for example, maybe you're doing cold email and like cold LinkedIn or whatever, then you just split the two, right? And this would total it up. So basically, what you do from here, now that you know this number, is we move on to step 3, which is essentially creating a macro list of items that must be done in order to get this number within KPI, okay? Because if we get this number in KPI, you essentially achieve your goal. So now we have to break down achieving this number, right? And if you have like maybe multiple things, maybe your show rate and your appointment volume rate isn't enough, then we would have to do this for both of those problems, right? So what we would do here is we would essentially create a Google document, right? That basically looks like this with all the issues that we need to solve, right? So for me, there's basically 3 things that are stopping me from reaching that $1 million a year, 100K a month goal, right? So that's basically the amount of appointments that I'm booking, right? So right now I'm booking around 90, 95. I need to get that up to 130 a month. Second thing is lead quality. So right now my offer rate is about 70%. I want to get that up to 80%. And then my sales conversion rate right now is about 20%. I want to get that up to 25. And if I hit these numbers, I will be able to make $100,000 a month. Okay. So that's basically that. And essentially how that works. All right. So you make a document like this, going over like basically a generalized thing of what you need to do, right? And then you're going to add these sub documents inside of here, and this is essentially step 4, right? Which is basically you're going to turn these larger items. So you have these 3 items, right? The appointment strategy to get me to 130 appointments a month, the lead quality strategy to be able to get me an 85% offer rate, and the sales strategy for me to be able to go to a 25% sales conversion rate. Okay. And there's a couple of things that we've updated as well. But these are like the main 3, right? So What you're going to do here is you essentially turn these macro items, those 3 that I just showed you, just as an example, you're going to turn those into things that you should be working on that if you will accomplish, you will achieve your goal, right? So for example, I'll just give you the sales strategy one, just as an example, right? So for me, right, I would basically like to, in order to be able to solve my sales problem, I believe that if I do these things every single day, every single sales call, I will be able to eventually get myself to that 25% offer to close rate. Okay. So these are just some things that I've been working on with a mentor who's helping me out with sales, right? So be able to practice the sales, do script, role play, everything like that, as much as humanly possible. Review every single call that could have closed, like rewatch the video. Make sure that you're like handling objections for at least 30 minutes, never breaking frame, confidence looping every question, right? These are just like little sales tactics, right? So this is for me to be able to improve the sales conversion rate, right? So what you'd have is you'd essentially have a list of action items that must be complete in order for you to be able to solve this goal, right? So this is a sales one, right? Which is maybe a little bit more complex. It's more of a skill-based thing that I just need to develop myself. The appointment setting one is a lot simpler, right? So this is basically just me sending more cold emails, right? So this is basically me deciding, okay, to be able to get this many appointments, I need to add another 20 emails to my campaign. And then I'm going to be able to get that, right? So that one was pretty simple. I was able to check that box off immediately. Now I'm just waiting for some accounts to warm up, and then we're going to be there in terms of the volume, all right? So some of them will be easier than others, and some of them will obviously be a little bit more complex, like the sales one and this lead quality one. But you're basically going to take every single problem that you have and every single constraint that you're hypothesizing is causing you not to be at your goal, and you are going to turn those into action items that you will complete every day, that when you have actually done that and when you have completed those and you have actually you have done the action items necessary to achieve these specific KPIs, when you do that for every single KPI that is not that's not essentially achieved already, that's stopping you from being able to hit these numbers, then you will essentially achieve your goal, okay? And that's literally the same thing that I used to actually get to 35 grand a month. And the same thing again, like I said, I'm using to go forward, and this really just simplifies, makes things a lot easier, so I know exactly what I need to be working on to be able to achieve my goal, okay? So if you do this little exercise and you notice that your volume on your appointments is out of KPI, that is what I specialize in, and I can help you out with that. All right. So if you want to, you can click the first link in the description and I can show you how that works. But if not, I will see you in the next one. Later.